Hi, so in today's video, I'll be talking to you about looking for a sponsor and looking for a job. So I came across Mindvalley and I saw a lot of courses that they offer about, developing your extrasensory perception or lucid dreams and so on, manifestations too. And I came to a live event where Vishnu Lokiani was presenting his courses, his company. And during that event, um, I thought about my dirty mug and dirty nails. Um, and I, a vision, right. Okay. So somebody during that meeting, somebody sent me a thought that it was my fault that my father died. And during that meeting, I could see me on the broom and my oldest sister on the broom as I could see as two witches. And wherever I wanted to go, wherever I wanted to move, my oldest sister was right on that road standing in front of me. This is how it was presented on the game of chess, me and her, as two witches. So I totally did not believe that. Obviously, in real life it happened um, that she had some saying, and yes, that whatever I wanted to do, she would go and do that too. Um, but I didn't believe that she was a witch. And well, during that meeting also, Vision talked about beer and he mentioned the word beer 3 times and I was like, no, and he rephrased it, but with us and so on. So I was thinking later on with time, oh no, he wanted to hypnotize me into drinking beer. And there were some footages from the parties that he talked about celebrating, and I had this song running in my head, my favorite one, one of my favorite ones, like girls, they just wanna have fun. um so yeah, later, a question occurred in my mind what I wanted to do in my life, and I didn't know. First I started to think about fast learning techniques because I always wanted to work a little bit more with visuals and learn how to change the words into pictures, and that's really effective when it comes to improving and enhancing your memory. But then I thought about Jim Quick. I thought Jim Quick does that, and there is no need to do that in such a case, right? So as I thought that, then later, there was another question like, look for further. What would you like to do in life? And then I came across the book Answer that James recommended me and my group during the training. Um, Probably a very popular book in the USA about manifestation and visualization. So I thought about, some courses for, helping people who had some problems with sex. So the next day I got the video from Mindvalley, and there was this man interviewed by Melissa Perr, who's a psychologist. And he said that he was addicted to sex and he worked with people who had problems with sex. And yeah, he also would say something like, some people come and some people go, and they are our partners and they don't stay forever. And I don't think that's true, and I think that such sentences coming from a person who was addicted to sex actually show explicitly where that person is mentally. So yeah, during that time, obviously I wanted to work with Mindvalley, and obviously there was an offer to work with Melissa Perr, who was a psychologist. So my mother would come and talk about psychiatrists and paying for the psychiatrist. And there was this Melissa Perr, and you could become her assistant. So I filed my application, and within a lot of questions you had to answer, there was a question regarding, if you were sane. And as I wanted to become a volunteer for a Jewish festival in Krakow, I also filled in the form, and there was the same question, if you are sane. And obviously, I talked to you a lot about occult, about covered hypnosis, um, and yeah, and there was this court case for the placement. So, well, I still know that I'm sane. So, um, during that time, that's true, I listened to some guided meditation by Regan Hills and Paul McKenna. And Paul McKenna's stories were actually very interesting and constructed and built in a very interesting way to work on both of your chemospheres. But with those guided meditation, there is always this beat underlying the words. There's always this melody, right, that accompanies those words. And my impression was, as I started to listen to it, they were different than when, later on, the second or third day of listening to those meditations, the beat has changed. And I think it was changed on purpose, not necessarily by the author, but it was changed into a stronger beat. And it was something that I've been listening to for, 3 hours before going to sleep for quite some time. But the thing is, I live next door to a fan, and that fan is very, very loud. And I hear it every day, even with the doors closed or even with my earplugs. And what's interesting, twice when I woke up at night, um, I had to close the window because at night, in the middle of the night, the fan was working. So here's my question. If twice I managed to, grasp and notice that the fan was working on me when I was sleeping, then maybe it happened more often than these two times, right? And, during that time, that was the time when I destroyed 3 of my sketchbooks with notes about Rihanna and songs, whatever was coming to mind. Um, these were 3 notebooks, and probably the same amount of notes for the book, The First Colony on the Planet Mars, which is my book for children. So I destroyed the written notes, and here I was lucky because I already had the script written on the computer. Um, And here's the best part. So I made a video in which I was talking about bringing the peace in Israel, because there is a war in Israel, and I was bringing peace over there because I believed for a moment that I was a god. And I was wondering how God spoke. Yes. And I felt really, really ashamed after that video. I sent it to my cousin, I sent it to my friend. Oh my. And, I believe the reason why I did this was also to actually to stop talking. If you do such a video, then probably you would never ever dare to make a video again. Well, I describe it in my book, and for one day I felt really ashamed and I had to get over it. I made a fool out of myself, and that was that. And oh, and in that video, I stated that I was addicted to sex. So, there was this video from Mindvalley where with the interview by Melissa Peer and the man who was addicted to sex. So, Vision is probably responsible for what I said. Of course, I'm kidding. But with covert hypnosis, obviously, you can send somebody else thoughts, and you can send them feelings, and you can send them images. That's possible for sure. Not being even present in the same room with them, you can still do that. And the reason why I believe, um, covered hypnosis helped me to do my shameful video is because there are a lot of situations designed when I was writing the book that were supposed to stop me to write, to finish off the book, and to drop it in the process. And in Poland, we have Edyta Górniak, who is a woman who's got a beautiful voice. And here's the thing about Edita. She talks openly about the work with energy, but she had to go to a psychologist, and people say that she says weird things in the interviews, and she had to go to courts because of journalists. And I don't mean people say, I mean my mother said that Edita Górniak, made weird utterances publicly. I don't know anything about it other than one utterance, one interview, when interviewee told her, "Oh, well, you recommended children candies for concentration." Well, that might appear a little bit inappropriate, weird. I don't know. Weird is not my favorite word. I'm sorry for that. So here is the thing. I believe I'm not the only woman out there who who used not her own utterances publicly to make a fool out of herself. And the woman who's got a voice like she has shouldn't have any negative opinions from journalists. Period. And she had to run from court to court. Because they were mean, intentionally mean to her. And I believe the same happened with Bronisława Zielińska-Weiss. She's actually the first gypsy from Poland who published her poetry about the gypsy, and she revealed some information about her own culture to Jerzy Ficowski, and therefore he could publish quite a few books about the gypsy. So Papusha was also placed in a psychiatric hospital, and there are a lot of sources that say that she was stalked by the gypsy. Okay. So, if I was harsh in my book with anyone, please forgive me, and please know that during that time I was really under a lot of the influence of this fan that was actually working at night, at least those two times that I know of. So if you want to learn more about the way the system is built and about COVID hypnosis, if you want to learn more about the gypsy, then please drop me a line at lkinga788@gmail.com. And if you want to check out my course, Amelia, if you want to learn more about, about mind control, mind games, and abuse, then click the link in the description of the film. You'll find all the info in the description, on my website, on my Facebook and Instagram accounts. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this video, share it with other people. And thanks for watching.